Kanye West once said, "It all falls down," and Die Rise made absolutely sure of it. Because if there is one zombies map in the entire history of this mode that fully embraces the idea of collapse, spiritual collapse, emotional collapse, architectural collapse, it's Die Rise. This map doesn't just let you fall, it doesn't just allow you to fall. No, Die Rise actively encourages falling as a core gameplay loop. It's gravity, the map. And even though we all love to laugh about it now, the slipping, the tripping, the ledge deaths, the elevator accidents, the floor disappearing under you like some kind of Looney Tunes gag, Die Rise is more than just a mess. It is a timestamp, a historical artifact of an era in zombies where Treyarch was trying to evolve the mode so fast that the wheels came off. A moment in BO2 development where leadership was shifting, the design philosophy was drifting, and the entire zombies formula was being stitched together with duct tape, ambition, and at least 3 unanswered QA tickets. So, today, we're diving deep. Far deeper than a map where the most memorable experience is plummeting 42 stories into a mattress that only works half the time. We're going to talk about the leadership behind it, the design intentions, the launch bugs, the community reaction, the memes, the failures, and the sad truth that Die Rise never fully got the chance it needed, while also absolutely being a fundamentally flawed concept that could have only worked in a universe where the BO2 movement engine wasn't held together by hope and frictionless collisions. And it all begins in 2013, the era of Jimmy Zielinski. Now, to be fair, Jimmy Zielinski was not a bad director. He gave us absolute bangers: Kino der Toten, Moon, Call of the Dead, Shangri-La, iconic classics. But by the time BO2 rolled around, it was clear Treyarch wanted zombies to grow beyond survival arena maps. They wanted it to compete with full campaigns. They wanted stories. They wanted buildables. They wanted multi-phase Easter eggs, character arcs, giant worlds, new systems, bank accounts, persistent upgrades, and entire mechanics built around exploration instead of holding a corner and shooting zombies in the head. The problem was, well, not all ideas are good ideas. Not every experiment lands. Not everything can be Origins. BO2 Zombies mode is this incredible blend of holy crap that's genius and holy crap who approved this. And nothing captures that duality better than Die Rise. Because if Transit was Treyarch saying, "What if zombies was too big?" Die Rise was Treyarch saying, "What if zombies was too vertical?" When Die Rise released in the Revolution DLC, it was immediately clear this map was trying something no map had tried before. Instead of one clean layout, Die Rise gives you 2 skyscrapers, one upright, one tilted sideways, stitched together through janky hallways, destroyed floors, hanging platforms, and vertical jumps that should have been flagged as workplace safety violations. And to its credit, it looked cool. It looked ambitious. This map looks like a zombies map from the future. Shanghai in ruins, neon lights buried under smoke, massive chasms to fall into, rooms hanging halfway off buildings. Visually, Die Rise has atmosphere. It has style. It has the bones of something incredible. But then you try to move around. That's when things fall apart. Because Die Rise made one fatal assumption. It assumed BO2 movement could handle precision platforming. It cannot. BO2 movement, even on a good day, is like pushing a shopping cart with a broken wheel. You get caught on corners, you slide off edges, your character sticks to things. Jumping has the same sense of control as trying to kick a pebble across a football field. If your foot hits a weird angle, the entire engine has an aneurysm. And yet, Die Rise asks you to do parkour. Jumps between platforms, jumps over gaps, jumps onto elevators, jumps onto mattresses, jumps down angled hallways, jumps off fallen floors, jumps where the penalty for failure is instant death and emotional trauma. The funniest part is that the entire first minute of the map is a metaphor for everything that follows. You spawn in, you walk, the floor collapses under you, and you fall into a pit. Congratulations! That's the Die Rise experience. That's the thesis statement. That's the design philosophy summarized in a single gag. But we're just warming up, because once you survive the intro drop, you meet Die Rise's second personality trait, the elevators. Listen, I have nothing against elevators in general. I use them, I ride them, I trust them not to murder me. But Die Rise elevators? These things are possessed. They slide up and down the shafts like they're testing how fast they can send you into orbit. They crush players, they yeet players into the floor, they randomly trap you, they glitch out, they sometimes decide to leave you without you, like a rude Uber driver. And of course, the perks are inside them. You want Jug? Cool, go find a random elevator. Want Speed Cola? Hope the elevator gods are blessing you today. Want Double Tap? Maybe it's to the left. Or maybe it's 80 feet above your head on a timer. Why? Because Treyarch in their infinite YOLO said, what if perks moved? What if perks weren't fixed? Wouldn't that be fun? Spoiler, it wasn't. Nothing makes you reevaluate your life choices like needing Jug on round 11 and discovering it's 3 floors above you, sealed in an elevator that won't stop long enough for you to get in without becoming a pancake. And then there's the Pack-a-Punch elevator, which should come with a warning label, because if you place your gun in to upgrade and the elevator decides to move, congratulations, your gun is gone. Just like that. No refund, no apology, no sorry bro. The elevator just descends like, thanks for the donation. Some players lost their wonder weapons like this. Think about that. You grind the parts, build the sliquifier, train zombies, survive ledges, survive physics, survive everything, and then Pack-a-Punch just eats it. It's not a feature, it's a hate crime. Now let's talk about perks more directly, because as much as I'd love to avoid this topic, we cannot talk about Die Rise without talking about Who's Who. Who's Who is what happens when a perk is designed by someone who hates the player. Because every perk in Zombies is supposed to make you stronger. Jug gives you health, Speed Cola gives you faster reloads, Double Tap gives you more damage, Who's Who turns you into a ghost and makes you revive yourself. Who's Who gives you problems. Here's how Who's Who works. Step 1, you go down. Step 2, the perk spawns a clone of you somewhere nearby. That clone has no perks, a weak pistol, and is surrounded by zombies. Then you have to run back and revive your original body while praying your clone doesn't die immediately. It is, without exaggeration, the worst perk in Zombies history. And on Die Rise, a map built around falling off ledges, Who's Who turns every down into a comedy sketch. Your clone spawns on the opposite side of the map like it's loading into a Warzone gulag. Your pistol has the stopping power of a wet napkin. You're running through tight hallways, slipping, sliding, tripping, while a group of zombies is chasing both versions of you. And what makes this funnier or sadder, depending on your emotional state, is that the perfect perk for Die Rise already existed. PhD Flopper, the fall damage immunity perk, the explosion immunity perk, the perk literally created to prevent exactly the problem Die Rise suffers from. And Treyarch removed it. Not only did they remove it, they placed the PhD machine visibly in the map, completely out of reach, just sitting there, mocking you. It's the biggest screw you in Zombies history. It's like Treyarch was saying, oh, you want fall damage protection? Too bad. Go revive your corpse again with a Who's Who clone you can't control. Reddit still hasn't forgiven them. Now, bugs. Because Die Rise wasn't just conceptually messy, the execution was a carnival of glitches. On day one, players reported falling through the floor, buildable parts vanishing, zombies pathing incorrectly, death barriers killing them instantly, elevators crushing them randomly, textures not loading, invisible walls, platforms not spawning, the sliquifier breaking the round, the trample steam launching players into the abyss. It was a show. It was a circus. It was modern art. Steam forums were basically support groups, Reddit threads were therapy sessions, and YouTube comments were either coping or crying, and COD Zombies forums, the old ones, were full of posts like, "It's not a map, it's a hazard. Movement in this map should be a war crime. I don't fear the zombies, I fear the stairs." And the worst part? A lot of the bugs were never fixed. BO2 was too busy. Treyarch was split across campaign, multiplayer, zombies, DLC, and prepping early stuff for BO3. Die Rise became that middle child that nobody wants to help because Origins is coming, and Mob of the Dead is already stealing the spotlight. So Die Rise stayed broken, and the community noticed. Now, one of the most interesting things about Die Rise is how the community perception evolved over time. At launch, there was coping. People genuinely tried to like this map, probably because they wanted to believe Zombies was still on the right track. After the chaos of Transit, people desperately wanted something that felt different, but also good. Instead, what they got was Die Rise. Different, yes. Good? Not consistently. Months after release, the fan base began to split into two groups. Group 1, Die Rise sucks. Group 2, Die Rise is misunderstood. Group 1 had most of the population. Group 2 had high-round players who figured out how to train in the Buddha room and trick the map into behaving for 10 minutes straight. But overall, most of the community turned on Die Rise pretty quickly. Why? Because once Mob of the Dead dropped, it exposed exactly what Die Rise was missing: cohesion, flow, atmosphere, identity, storytelling, stability, a sense of direction, a sense of purpose, a sense of I know where I am and where I need to go. All these things Die Rise either lacked or actively worked against. Mob of the Dead did everything Die Rise wanted to do, differently, elegantly, confidently. That comparison killed Die Rise faster than any glitch. And over the years, Die Rise settled into this weird cultural niche, not iconic enough to be beloved, not broken enough to be ironically celebrated, not functional enough to be rehabilitated, not forgotten enough to disappear. Die Rise became a meme, a punchline, the poster child for BO2's experimental failures. But here's the thing. Was Die Rise ever given a fair chance? Partially no, and partially yes. Die Rise did release buggy. It did ship incomplete. It did suffer from issues that weren't the player's fault. It did need patches that never came. It did get overshadowed by Mob of the Dead and Origins. It did get judged harshly in the shadow of two iconic releases. But even if it had gotten the patches, even if the movement bugs were fixed, even if the elevators behaved, even if PhD Flopper was added, even if the geometry worked, the core design philosophy still has issues. The map is narrow, linear, punishing, unpredictable, RNG heavy, navigationally annoying, too vertical without movement designed for it, confusing in its loops, unfair in its drops, inconsistent in its reward systems. These are not bugs. These are not glitches. These are design choices. And that's the part most people don't realize. Even in a perfect world where die-rise shipped flawlessly, the map's DNA still struggles against the core identity of zombies. Because zombies is a mode about flow, and die-rise stops flow. Zombies is about agency, and die-rise restricts agency. Zombies is about movement, and die-rise punishes movement. Zombies is about survival, and die-rise makes survival dependent on elevators and mattresses. Die-rise is the only map where the solution to most problems is don't move too fast or don't move too slow, but exactly medium speed. And that's not a satisfying gameplay loop. But here's why die-rise matters. Why this map still deserves a 30-minute video, and why it still comes up in discussions a decade later. Die-rise represents an era of zombies where Treyarch was willing to take risks. Risks that sometimes paid off and sometimes didn't. It's a reminder that innovation is messy. Experimentation is messy. Trying new things is messy. And sometimes it leads to masterpieces like Origins, and sometimes it leads to maps like Die-Rise, where the ambition outpaced the execution by several hundred feet of vertical drop. And despite everything, the bugs, the memes, the deaths, Die-Rise is still remembered. Not loved, not cherished, but remembered. Because it is impossible to forget the map where you died more to stairs than zombies, where the elevators had more personality than the characters, where Who's Who actively bullied you, where Pack-a-Punch stole your guns like a pickpocket, where you couldn't even practice because the map crashed sometimes before round 3, where every jump was a trust fall with no trust. And somehow, through all of that, there is still something charming about Die-Rise. Something iconic, something unique, something that says, we tried something bold. And yes, it fell down, but it tried. And now, over a decade later, people still argue about it. People still debate whether it deserved better. People still roast it. People still request remakes. People still fall off it on purpose for TikTok clips. Die-Rise is flawed, deeply, but it has heart, and it has a legacy. A messy one, sure, but a legacy nonetheless. Because like Kanye said, it all falls down. And Die-Rise didn't just fall. It jumped, flipped, ricocheted, bounced off a mattress, clipped through a railing, and fell again. And for that, we'll never forget it. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching Element 115 Labs, the only channel where falling off a Die-Rise ledge still counts as academic research. If you enjoyed this breakdown, stick around. There are plenty of videos on the channel, deep dives, retrospectives, and a whole archive of questionable zombies design choices just waiting for you. So, if you want more long-form analysis that actually respects your brain cells, go ahead and subscribe. It helps a ton, and it tells the algorithm we're not just talking to ourselves out here. When you're done, check out another video on the channel, keep the binge going, and as always, take care, stay alive, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.